Hey everybody, Unqualified Gamer here, and welcome to another episode of Nani Shorts. Today's episode is a little bit of a story time. Yes, uh, story time about my past as a nerd. This is sort of a little bit of a follow up of a TikTok that I've done. If you haven't seen my TikTok, go and check it out. Unqualified Gamer Two. What is it? Unqualified Gamer 215. But you'll have the link in the. I'll have the link in my description though. So, I'm pretty sure it's unqualified 215, unqualified gamer 215 on TikTok. But recently I did a video responding to a video of somebody saying you weren't bullied because you liked anime. You were bullied because you Naruto run down the hallway. And I did a video on that, which is more on the agreeing side of him. And like I said, just to clarify, I'm not discrediting anybody who's been bullied because they watched or played video games. I'm well aware that people have been bullied based upon the things that they like. So that's nothing like so that's that I'm not trying to discredit you guys. I'm talking about my own experience with that and things that I've experienced. But this is sort of like a follow up to that of a little bit of a story behind that. Now, in the video, I did say that I personally myself was not bullied in high school because I watched anime or I played video games or just me just being a nerd completely. I never was bullied through that manner. I mean, in fact, I really wasn't bullied at all because, like I said, when somebody did try to bully me, either I had friends that that stepped right in, or I just kind of just defended myself and just was able to just stand up for myself. I had the confidence enough to stand up for myself. Unfortunately, not a lot of there's people out there that don't have that confidence. My heart goes out to you guys. Hopefully, y'all found some peace with that and were able to become stronger from within. But what this story goes into is a story about me actually feeling displaced as a nerd within the nerd community. Yeah. So here's the thing. I live in a big city. I live in Philadelphia. And I went to Philadelphia public schools. And throughout, I would say my love for anime has always been there. But when I really knew what anime was, I would say it will definitely be in middle school with the rise of Toonami showing Dragon Ball Z. And I know in middle school there were large groups. I had large groups of friends that watched Dragon Ball Z when I was in middle school, and like I said, that's something. Like something we wouldn't stop talking about. We drew it. That's like I said, one of my best friends in middle school. We met based upon a drawing of Goku. So it's like, yeah, Dragon Ball Z was a big portion of my youth, of actually gaining conversation and everything like that. But along with that, though, I was also into Pokemon and everything like that. Moving forward, in high school, I did notice there was sort of a like fallback sort towards that, like towards the nerd community. So it's like I had friends who went to the same high school as I did, and I know in middle school we were like, you know, we was like tight. We was like the best of friends basically, and then once high school hit, it was like a totally different story. Which overall, it's okay. He wasn't a bully. He didn't bully me. It was just the fact that we just went our own separate ways in high school. He went more on a sports journey, playing football, you know, and just being more uh basically being your average teenager, very outgoing, was able to talk to the opposite sex very easily, more so than I would, But I know, like I said, in high school, I was an open nerd. I played Yu-Gi-Oh at lunchtime. I went on. I brought my Game Boy Advance to school with me, and my Game Boy Color. You know, and there were times even when you had quote unquote the cool kids that actually brought in their PlayStation 2 and playing Grand Theft Auto 3 in the lunchroom. I remember that. And then I wasn't bringing in my PlayStation 2 because one, it wasn't mine, it was my older brother's PlayStation 2. I just used it more so than he did, but I wasn't going to bring that to school. I knew better than that, but I did bring some of my games, and I introduced a lot of games to people who were just only playing at the time, uh, Madden, Grand Theft Auto, and I would say it wasn't Mortal Kombat. The third game was mostly it was like NBA Streets. It was like NBA Streets or Def Jam. Those like the popular games that was hitting back then. But I introduced them to like RPGs. I introduced a few kids to RPGs back when Final Fantasy X came out. When the first Kingdom Hearts dropped, I brought that in, and people they was like, "What?" At first, you had people say, "What is this Disney crap?" But then actually playing the game, they actually enjoyed it. One of the coolest kids in my school actually enjoyed it, so it was like it's one. Like I said, I've always been the person that was just outgoing and just by myself. And one thing I noticed about bullies in my high school that I went to, which was a public school in Philadelphia. Uh, One of the things I noticed is people bullied you only if you were a try hard. If you wasn't comfortable with your own skin and they kind of knew that you wasn't comfortable with your own skin, then that's when they started to bully you. And think about it is there was a point when I was on that cusp and edge of about to be bullied, but it was one of those things where I kind of just stood my ground because I was, I remember one person tried to make fun of me for, you know, watching Powerpuff Girls, and they was just like, "Oh, you watching a girly cartoon X, Y, and Z?" And I'm just like, "Okay, yeah." He's like, "Yeah, I bet you don't get no. I bet you don't get no women. I bet you're still a virgin." And at the time, I was like, what, 16? I was like 16 years old, and I was like, "Well, yeah, I am a virgin. I don't see the issue with this. I don't see what's the problem when I forward that back at him. He just kind of just paused. It just like, and then his friends kind of looked at him and was like, I mean, he's kind of right. Like, I mean, yeah, there are people that weren't virgins at 16, but still a lot of people here that are virgins that never had sex. So there's not that uncommon, you know. And to me, just being openly with that, it just kind of just busts the whole thing of just like, you're making fun of something. You're making fun of him for something that he already knows. He's not trying to hide it. He's open about it. What is there? What else is there to make fun of him about? And I was fortunate enough to have friends that were jocks, that were cool, because I've always treated everybody like I said, like how I like to be treated, and I treated them as equal. I never looked down upon them. I accepted them for who they were right off the rip. So I think that's also another reason why I was never bullied in that manner. So me agreeing with that person, it just from a personal like standpoint of what I've experienced when I was in high school, you know. But going into, I kind of went on a tangent here because I'm gonna hop back into how sometimes the nerd community had treated me like an outcast, and that has happened. That's happened to me. One example of that was one example of that was back when, like I said, it was in high school. I was around like I was like a junior, like a junior or senior, and there was a place in Philly called Galaxy. And if you lived in Philly, if you lived in Philly or were in Philadelphia area, if you were a nerd in Philly in the early 2000s, we're talking like between the years of 2001 to 2000, I would say 2009. If you was in if you was in that era, what I'm talking about. It was right near the gallery. You know, it was around that area. And it was a shop that sold like a bunch of like classic animes, and it was a lot of anime that was being sold through like imports. They had video games there. They had like cards. It was basically just a nerd hangout. And one thing about that shop, even though I liked the shop, it was a heavily gatekept shop. And it's like if you weren't part of that group, if they didn't recognize you, oh my god, you will be grilled. And these are other nerds who, like I said, if there's that, like I said, if you're bullied in high school and you find yourself at Safe Haven, but then you're doing the same exact thing as the so-called bullies are doing to you, you're making fun of people who don't know the material that you're doing. You're not being very welcoming to newcomers. If somebody new comes in, you're automatically grilling them. Y'all know who y'all are, and y'all still out there. And I do have a feeling that sometimes some of the videos that I've seen when people say I've been bullied, like in high school, sometimes I feel like those are those are that people right there. They're just not being openly honest with themselves, and that's just like my take on that. But one day I was in there, and like I said, new face going in there, and it's not even the owner. These are just people that just hang out there. And I get the 21 question because I didn't come in looking like I like was a complete nerd. Um, I walked in there and I had like at the time I had a bullet warm have a, had a bullet a Washington bullet um warm up jersey. I had what else? I had state property jeans and okay, I didn't have Tim's because I couldn't afford Tim's at the time, but I had lugs. Don't clown me, okay? Don't clown me. But anyway, I had lugs on. You couldn't know you didn't know it was lugs unless you lift up the pants though. But I dressed I at that time I dressed like your average teenager from the early 2000s, you know? And I walked in there and they looked me up and down. I was like they're looking at me like I'm a freaking alien. And I go to the wall and I was looking at Dragon Ball GT because at the time GT wasn't out in the states yet. I don't think GT wasn't even out in the states yet. But I was just looking to finish up a box set that I've gotten, a few years back. So I'm looking at GT, and I'll never forget this one guy. We're gonna go by, we're gonna go call him Jarrett. Jarrett walks up to me. He's like, "Oh, it's Dragon Ball GT, huh? Yeah. So you know who that is then on the cover?" And I wasn't too familiar at the time with GT because I said I was, you know, I didn't really fully like, I didn't really fully like complete it yet, but I just had some VHS tapes that I've already had. So he pointed out that on the cover it had Gohan, had Super Saiyan Gohan, it had Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and you had uh you had Vegeta, and then you had Pan on there and Trunks. And he pointed to Gohan, which I mistakenly said, "Oh, well, that's a Goku," and they all laughed at me. They all laughed at me. They they say, "Well, I think you're in the wrong place, buddy." And I'm just like, no, I'm in the right place. I'm just want to get this VHS." And then they're really just like grilling me about this because I got a certain character wrong. And remind you, these are other nerds in this place they're like literally bullying me out this place because I got something wrong. Never happened with anything in high school when I was in high school with jocks or cool kids or anything like that. But these are my own people, so called own people that happened that treated me like I was an outsider because I didn't look like them and I got a character wrong. Like I said, gatekeeping is not it. Especially when it comes down to a culture that's not even your effing own. Like I said, majority of people that was in there were black. Japanese culture is not your culture, buddy. There's no reason for you to gatekeep anime. And like I said, this kind of like goes in full circle on the video where the guy was talking about you were bullied because you were Naruto running, not because you were like anime. And this is the reason why I kind of agree with that, because sometimes, and I do have to say, sometimes we do take it too far. Sometimes we do take it and have our nose stuck in the air sometimes and looking down, because I've seen it happen. And like I said, overall, you shouldn't be bullying anybody. Nobody should be bullying anybody, especially if they like something. You know, if I know you, I'll tell you a joke, because I know I can take a joke, and if I know you can take a joke, I'm gonna joke with you. You know, I might playfully say, "Oh, look at this, this guy like Madden, oh great." I might joke around and say something like that, but I'm not serious about it at all. I'm not gonna clown you because you like playing a certain game, or you like watching just Dragon Ball Z. Like, listen, you like I said, you watch anime. If I find that you watch anime, I am going to be ecstatic to the fact that you're watching anime. I don't care if you just started watching because your favorite rapper got you into it. I don't care. Are you enjoying it? Great, you're enjoying it. We can now talk about something there's something in common. That's one extra person I could talk to and befriend. Thank you. I'll give you some recommendations. And also, like I said, I want people from the outside to start watching anime. I want people who never watched anime and thought anime was corny, but then decided, you know what? My favorite musician or this person that I'm dating is watching anime, and now I want to be interested into it. I want to be into it as well. I gladly welcome you guys into our community. I gladly welcome you, because not only is that broaden that horizon, but that's something new that I can learn from them as well. There might be certain things that I may not have any interest at all, but they might say, "Oh well, look, you recommended me this anime. How about I recommend you this right here, this song right here, that or this artist that I never heard of." Could be something I could definitely get into. It just broaden your horizon. Just be a little bit more open to people who are just new to it. Don't be in a hole. Don't be a bully. And if you do have those high school traumas, my biggest suggestion for you is to go seek therapy. Like, because everybody's dealing with trauma. I'm not, like you said, it's not an easy thing to let go. I'm not going to say, oh, just let it go. No, it's hard to let go of trauma. Trauma is trauma. Like, it's very super hard to let go of that. But I know this video is going on for way too long. If you want, I could always talk more about this. Let me know in the comment section below. What do you guys think of my little story? Have you experienced something different? Have you been bullied because you like something? Let me know in the comment section below. Have a discussion. Let's be professional. Let's go ahead and be kind to one another. Do not bash anybody. Please don't. But with that being said, I am grateful and thankful that you have made it this far. I do appreciate it. Make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all in the next video. Until then, this is Unqualified Gamer signing out. Peace.